love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Step it up, don't be scared. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Step it up, don't be scared.
Interlagos, or the Autodrome Jose Carlos Pace, epitomizes the perfect racetrack, steeped in deep history with the track roots dated all the way back to the 1940s. Interlagos has played its host, or its fair share, host to important races, whether that's in the form of the Formula 1 title showdown or a more modern history, providing some of the best racing in the national stock car Brazil series. Interlagos is something of a throwback circuit, updated just enough over the years to satisfy the demands of Formula 1 without destroying its essential character. Welcome to round 4 of the SRL Friday Night GT4 League. My name is Seb Bosher-Williams, and I'll be in the comms booth today giving you the lowdown about the on-track action. And as you can see, we've just ticked into qualifying. 10 minutes here today, 3 laps to decide the grid for race number 1. And what an absolutely superb race we are into today. You currently see on your screen Alan McCain. What can he do? Everybody on their outlaps at the moment, or at least most people. And what are we going to see today, I wonder? Well, if you joined us 1 week ago, you know that some of these drivers were in the TCR machinery, a very different car to the GT4s that we have today. Front-wheel drive, of course, rather than these rear-wheel drive monsters. These GT4s a little bit faster as well. Though the TCRs, don't get me wrong, are fairly rapid in their own right. Crowther, another of the Mercedes driver, McLaren driver, I should say, just coming around to start his first flying lap. We're riding on board with the McLaren. He heads under the start-finish straight to start his first flying lap of qualifying today. Down into turn 1, takes a late entry in, and then through the Senna S's turns 1 and 2, through Curva de Sol, turn number 3 on the very long run down, where, if you recall, all the way back to 2016, Max Verstappen went all the way around the outside in the wet. Some of the most incredible driving you will see. Down to the braking zone of turn 4, Destino del Lago. I say turn 4, it's actually turns 4 and 5. You run a little bit wide at the mid part, get it tightly tucked back in for turn 5, and then up the hill towards turn number 6, Ferratura, and then Curva do Laringa's turn number 7 on the brakes for turn 8. Get the car nicely customized to the apex, and then through the long left-hander of turn 9, Perugino, and then down to turn 10, Pinca de Pato. A real hot spot of action, I suspect, today. Oh, runs a little bit in, spins, loses the rear, and there goes Derek Crowther's lap. It all falls away from him. It was all looking very, very neat and tidy for him, but he will have to regroup. He's still got 2 laps to go, but not the way that you want to start off qualifying. Elliot James, he's just about to start his first qualifying attempt. Crosses the line. Where can he go, I wonder? But further down the track, as it were, Lovesey, I think, will be our first driver to set a time. No, that goes to Al Brown, Mould to the top of the timing stands. 1 minute 38.982. 0.3 of a second separates Mould and Anthony Mayat in second place. McLaren versus Mercedes, or McLaren's or Mercedes on the timing screens at the moment. I said that Andrew Lovesey was looking like the first driver to actually set a lap time, but I think he had his lap time in validated. It won't count. Daniel Wareham up now into 5th place. That's a good lap from him. Arthur Thurtle, what can he do? Purple in sector 2, purple in sector 3. What can he do in the 5th and final sector of the Interlagos circuit? One of the only Aston Martins on the track. In fact, one of 4, many dominated by McLarens and Mercedes. Thurtle to the top of the timing stands. A 1 minute 38.787, almost 0.2 separates Arthur from Dan Mould. He's already on to lap 2. What can he do? The number 70 car. Wow, does that Aston Martin look good? One of the, I think, the prettiest GT4s on the grid. Mould improving through sector 2. Had a personal best in sector 3, but did not improve in sector 4. That's Zheng Chao. Magello, I should say, turns 11 and 12, a really crucial part of the lap. Mould crosses the line, improves, but does not topple Arthur Thurtle. Mould now 0.08 of a second behind Thurtle in the lead. McCain in 3rd as well. Crowther is the only driver really to not set a representative lap time. P1 to P15. Everybody separated by less than 0.5 to the driver ahead of them, but you just see 2.8 seconds separates 17 cars on the grid. Crowther is a little bit unrepresentative at this point. One of the drivers who has not started or has not completed a valid qualifying lap yet is this man, Ryan Dudley. What can he do on this lap time? John Johnston, he set a lap time now. He goes into 18th place. I think another unrepresentative lap time from the McLaren driver. So 3 drivers have yet not set their qualifying lap. That's Ryan Patton, Ryan Dudley and Elliot James, 2 Porsches and 1 Aston Martin. But I wonder, can Ryan Dudley set the wrongs of his qualifying session so far? Crosses the line, improves in the last 3 sectors, does in fact, goes into 13th position. I think he'll be mightily happy with that one. And then all eyes on Elliot James. Where can he put his car? Will he be up into the top 10? No, James goes 17th. Mould improves and goes to the top of the timing stands. 600ths of a second separates Mould and Thurtle. And wow, you couldn't really set up a race any better than that. McCain in third. What is Thurtle doing? Is he improving on this lap? I do believe he is. We have a look at the number 70 Aston Martin. He's got to find the smallest of fractions if he wants to retake that pole position. McCain's in the pits. He's done. Myatt as well. Brown further down the field. Many drivers having their qualifying sessions, you have to say, come to a little bit of a premature end, but Thurtle really pushing the boundaries of the car. He's got purple in sector 2, purple in sector 3 as he heads up towards the line. Where will Arthur Thurtle go? This decides the grid for race number 1 here tonight. Will it be Mould? Will it be Thurtle on pole? And Mould has done it. Thurtle improves. Goes to 1 minute 38.767, but does not get that ever crucial pole position. And Thurtle very much going for the aviation lap time today. He had a 787 or 0.787. Now, somewhat downgraded, you have to say, to the 767, and I hope anybody out there will appreciate the completely useless aviation fact that I've just woven into commentary. That's what happens when you're left all alone. You can basically say whatever you like, and aviation's certainly one of my other hobbies. Draper just weaving about the track at the moment. As Patton heads up into third. That's a lap time. A little bit of a bolt from the blue, you have to say. Patton now up into third place on his third and final lap. Almost want to call it a plucky little Porsche, the only other Porsche in the field, down in 15th place. And Ryan really utilising that machinery to get up into third. 0.2 of a second off Thurtle. And that looks like a fairly spicy race, undoubtedly. John Johnston, another driver out on the track at the moment. In fact, the only other driver who was not, or the only driver that's out on the track that has not completed all 3 of their allotted qualifying laps. Where does Johnston go? Can he improve? Can he get off the bottom step of the grid? No, he cannot. So Johnston will start 22nd and last. 3.2 seconds off Cugley in 21st. So Johnston needs to find, you have to say, a little bit of pace if he wants to compete with these drivers. Such is their speed today. But what an absolutely incredible race we have for you today, or race number 1, and we can bring you up your grid. Dan Mould starts from pole. Arthur Thurtle alongside him on the first row of the grid. Ryan Patton, that late lap, he will start in third. Alan McCain alongside him in 4th place. Mark Draper 5th. Anthony Myatt 6th. Andrew Lovesey 7th. Mark Brown in 8th. Daniel Wareham in 9th. And Craig Walters rounds out your top 10. John Brown just outside the top 10. He will start in 11th. Neil Stephenson in 12th place. Stuart Gibbons 13th. Derek Crowther in 14th. Ryan Dudley 15th. Al Brown in 16th place. Daniel Lewis will start on the 9th row of the grid. Alongside him will be Fraser Geraghty. Elliot James is 19th with David Smith in 20th place. Paul Cugley 21st, and John Johnston your 22nd and final qualifier. And everybody has has gone on to the grid. And we are about to get ready to go racing here today. Dan Mould. I think getting away a little bit slow there. Nothing to really cause any form of concern. But not getting away particularly well. Has to retake his race lead, which of course he's entitled to do, as there is no overtaking on the pseudo formation lap that we have here today. Of course, don't have to do the full lap, but unusually when it comes to iRacing, have to do a little bit of the formation. Tension now building for all drivers involved. You see actually Ryan Patton in the 3rd place. He's in that Marlboro Porsche that you see in the background. He's starting to race Thurtle, but they round the final corner. Has Mould decided to go? That would be a very early start if he has decided to get this race underway. The pace car's still out on the track, so not really anywhere for him to go. Starting to back off the pack. So now you see the pack forming behind. They're going to go 2 by 2, and we're going to get ready to go racing. Here tonight, there's a big crash in the background. A start line incident. Cars flying off in the background there. I think that's Stephenson, Smith, Lewis, Cugley involved. But all eyes are fixed on the start of the race. As Patton gets away well. They're side by side as they head into turn 1. Thurtle under pressure from Patton. Patton just has to back out, and they all survive through turn number 1. Down the back of the field, we see Lovesy trying to find his way past Myatt, Draper, McCain, all in the battle for 5th place, but Mould very much leading the pack away as we head into the braking zone of turn number 4. Destino Del Lago. Oh, Mould spins! Mould gets it all wrong, and he sees his race fall away on the wayside. Mould will have to rejoin the race, but he is far down the order, all the way down into 18th place. Thurtle leads, then Patton in 2nd, McCain in 3rd, but McCain's under pressure from Draper. Draper goes to the inside. McCain is forced to go all the way alongside. There's 3 wide. Contact is made. The 78, I do believe that is. That's Brown as well. That's Myatt and Brown coming together at turn number 8. And McCain in 5th, Lovesy 4th, Draper 3rd. High drama at the start of this race. But Thurtle, Patton, Draper, your top 3. Further down the order, Dudley pressurizing Myatt. Myatt involved in that turn 8 incident. Has a look to the inside. Our 2nd Porsche driver runs a little bit wide, but in the background there, Fraser Garrity tries to go the long way around the outside of Zheng Xiao, turn number 12. And that that Mercedes heads up into 11th place. But as I said, high drama on the opening lap. Thurtle, unsurprisingly, sets the fastest lap of the race. But I want to have a look at the start of the race. So this is actually pre the start of the race. And what has gone on here, I wonder. So Crowther has just arrived on the scene a little bit too late. Oh, he gets rear-ended, so it wasn't actually Crowther's fault, you have to say. And that all goes wrong. Was that Stuart Gibbons that made contact with him, I wonder? So they're actually 3 wide, so do not be mistaken. This is before the race. So it's a McLaren, and it all just goes wrong. That's fairly rookie stuff, I think you have to say. I don't think they'll mind me saying it's not what you want to see. Garrity and Dudley having a little bit of a fight out on the track. And then all eyes on Dan Mould. What happened to him on his way down to turn number 4, I wonder? So he's just going to turn in. Oh, he's on the brake, so I think he's realised that he's just entered the corner with just a little bit too much speed, and as soon as you do that, you're never really going to be able to keep the car alive, and the car spins round. Rear tyres say, I simply cannot deal with that level of demand. So Garrity in 11th, chasing down Dudley for 10th place. But in the lead, Thurtle now extending almost to a second the gap between himself and Patton. Mould on his way back up the field into 13th place, side by side I do believe Cugley just lets him go. So Mould now up into 13th place. Cugley, though, has a look to the inside, heading down to turn 1. It's going to brake very late. Try and get that inside line. Tyre smoke there. I think that's Geraghty. Geraghty's off the track in the background. I think Geraghty has decided, well, not decided, I think he's made a mistake heading into turn number 1. What has happened to Fraser Geraghty, I wonder? So he's heading now into the braking zone. Broken a little bit late. Gotten onto the grass. The tyres have spun up, and Geraghty finds himself facing the wrong way very, very quickly. Geraghty now really has it all to do, you have to say. Still, though, up 4 places from where he started. Draper in 3rd, coming under pressure from Lovesey. The gap now under half a second. And what does Lovesey want to do at this phase of the race? Does he want to start making the move, start getting involved? Or is he happy just to wait for a little bit? They're gapping McCain ever so slightly each lap. And does Lovesey want a little bit more of a buffer before he starts really making those moves and putting almost his race at risk? You certainly can if you get the results get the overtake just a little bit wrong. You see Lovesey up 3 places from where he started. Maya pressurizing Walters as well. See in the background Maya in 8th place, trying to make his way up into 7th, trying to really reduce the arrears that he's found himself in after that first lap issue. What can he do through turn number 3? Coverdale Sol really have to slingshot off this corner to get in the slipstream to find a way down the inside into turns 4 and 5. Maya goes defensive, and Walters goes defensive, forces Maya to go the long way around the outside if he can, but unfortunately for Maya, he remains in 8th place. Walters in 7th. Elliot James, though, I think has had some form of issue out on the track. So this is turns 1, 2, runs a little bit wide in turn 3, and you just see how much that upset the car. Finds himself going for a spin. Elliot James now down into 16th place, so not the best race for him. In fact, he's finding himself coming under a lot of pressure from Stuart Gibbons. Gibbons heads to the inside. They're going to be side by side. Forces James wide. And James is going to have to concede that place as well, in fact, to keep it heading in the right direction. Gibbons now up into 16th place. James down into 17th. Maya, what can he do, I wonder? That's very wide for him on the exit of Jung Shao. Up now towards the start-finish line and turn number 1. Thurtle sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 38.921. Braking zone, you see right now, no moves really being made. Senna is in all their glory. Curva Del Sol up next, and now this is where you can get the slingshot. You can really use the power that all of these drivers have available to them. Of course, you know, these are high performance vehicles. I think Brown under pressure from Dudley in the background. Dudley to the inside. And that's Mould trying to go all the way around the outside. Sorry, that's, do apologise, that's Dudley. That's Brown and Dudley, I do apologise. Ryan Dudley very much in the middle of a McLaren sandwich with Mould right behind him, trying to make his way up the field. Of course, Mould had a little bit of a leg up in this race, is that we do have another race coming up here tonight, which is a reverse top 12. So Mould at the moment would actually be in 2nd place. But I think Mould would really like to be scoring some points early on in this race. Or early on in this racing day, I should say. What can Mould do? Heads up to Zheng Xiao, runs a little bit wide. That's the racing line. Try and maximize open the corner as much as you can to get the run through Zheng Xiao through turns 13, 14 and 15. Barely corners, really. They are more inconveniences to the drivers, and now Mold firmly in the slipstream heads down the straight. That's turn 15 there. You only really notice it if you're racing in the wet. Mold using the slipstream of Brown. Is he going to make it 3 wide? He goes right to the inside by the pit wall. Mold trying to do the double overtake. He started this this lap in 11th place, but the spin in the background, that's John Brown. Brown falling down the order. He's facing backwards, in fact. That's through turn number 1. You see him parked at the top of your screen. Brown's race goes from bad to worse, and Mold, I think, might have to take a little bit of the blame for that incident. But Mold now up into 9th place. Dudley remains in 10th, but Mold, the biggest victor out of that little excursion heading into turn 1. So we see John Brown in the middle of your screen. He's defending to the inside. And I think I have to apologise there to Dan Mold. John Brown, I think, just went a little bit hot into the corner. I got my McLarens mixed up, as it were. And Mold there very much made the move, and Brown was just trying to recover as much time loss as possible and ended up really just running too deep into turn 1. Mark Draper, though, still in 3rd place. This battle's been raging on for the last few laps or so. Lovesey still very much hot on the heels of the McLaren driver, while McCain falling away. The gap is now up to almost 2.7 seconds. So Lovesey really has a nice buffer now to start thinking about making his way onto the podium. Through to the centre S's of turns 1 and 2. Immediately followed by Curva del Sol. Onto the back straight. It's Aston Martin power versus McLaren. Lovesey pulls out to the inside just to let Draper know that he's there. He would like a little bit of the action, but cannot find a way through. Lovesey will pull in once again. Cugley falling down the order. That's a battle between himself and Geraghty. Fraser Geraghty just getting the upper hand. That's an overtake through turn 2, but Cugley's going to try and find his way down to the inside. Can he brake late? Tries to send it in there. Car almost out of control, but Cugley cannot find a way through, and Geraghty makes his way up into 12th place. Cugley down into 13th. But the battle for 3rd once again really heating up. Draper tries to go all the way around the outside of Bingo de Pado. That's going to be a fairly adventurous overtake if you can make that one work. Couldn't on this occasion, but he certainly cannot fault Lovesey for really trying to find his way through. Draper, though, you can see up 2 places. Lovesey up 3, but your biggest gainer on the field so far is Cugley, actually in 13th place, up a whopping 8 spots from where he started. That's all, in fact, in the time span of 8 racing laps. So 1 position a lap is not a bad average, if you ask me. Oh, but that's a little bit wide there from Draper. That's going to give a huge opportunity to Lovesey behind to make the move as they head round turn 3, down towards turn 4. Destino del Lago must be, really, you have to say, one of the best overtaking opportunities on the track, but still Lovesey cannot find a way through. Has to really back out of the move before the apex of turns 4, and Draper survives even after that little mistake, you have to say, from the McLaren driver of Draper in 3rd. And what does Lovesey have to do? Where can he find the extra time needed, I wonder? Craig Walters, though, is in a battle. McCain, Wareham, Walters and Maya all separated by less than 2 seconds on the track. Walters a little bit adrift away from Wareham, but Wareham most definitely pressuring McCain into turn 10. Once again, can't really find a way through, especially not around the outside. The inside, maybe. These cars just simply don't have enough downforce to really go all the way around the outside of turn number 10. Through turn 12, Zheng Xiao Wareham gets a better run. He's got the slipstream. McCain doesn't have that benefit. He's some 3 seconds away from Lovesey. And what can Wareham do? They head through turns at 14 and 15. You can really see that slipstream in effect. Wareham, I think, is going to pull to the inside. Dudley's fallen down the order. I think Dudley is fallen off the track. Ryan Dudley, I think, unfortunately for him, finding the wrong end of the racetrack, but Wareham could not find a way through. And that's David Smith in the McLaren, just getting out of the way. You see both of the drivers find, sorry, that's John Johnson, I should say, neatly getting out of the way before the braking zone of turns 4 and 5 to Sina Del Lago. But I wonder what has happened to Ryan Dudley. Another victim of running wide through turn 10, turn 12, Zheng Xiao. Very easy to do. You see many professional racing drivers come a cropper at that exact same corner. Dudley almost getting beached, in fact, over the curb on the exit. He'll be, I think, fairly happy that he's managed to stay in the race. Mayat closing in on Walters. Through turn 10, up now towards turn 12. Does Mayat feel like going to the inside, trying to send it a little bit too far back on this occasion? There's a car off in the background. I do believe that's Smith. That's David Smith. He's off the track. What has happened, I wonder? Is it going to be a repeat of what we saw to Dudley? Yes, it is. Running wide. Spears across the track. Very lucky, in fact, that no driver was there towards turn 1. Mayat a little bit too far back to make a move on Walters. Wareham the same on McCain. So it remains McCain in 5th, Wareham 6th, Walters 7th, Mayat 8th, and Mould up into 9th place. Mould, in fact, lapping some 8 tenths or so quicker than this pair ahead of him. You see him there in the background, that orange and black McLaren. Will he play a factor into this battle before the end of the race, I wonder? Just under 5 minutes left to go in race number 1. Craig Walters in 7th place. So McLaren fight. It's the top 3 of this battle, and we have one Mercedes very much outnumbered. In fact, a very few Mercedes GT4s on the grid at all. So Walters in 7th. What can he do? Where can he go? I wonder. Where can he make the move? It's all about getting a good exit out of Zheng Xiao, turn 12, which he's done. He's now in the slipstream. Unfortunately for him, Wareham has got the slipstream from McCain. I think Walters is going to need to be a little bit brave under brakes. Needs to really send it to the inside through turn 1. Needs to do what Mould did a few laps ago. Walters, look at all that overspeed he has. Tries to send it to the inside. They're going to be almost side by side. Walters, though, just backs out of it a little bit early. Look at this. This is going to give a huge opportunity for Mayat to come through turns 1 and 2. That's a little bit wide from Walters through turn 3. They're all even. It seems that Mayat didn't get the best run as well. So it's Walters once again pressurizing Wareham. Wareham falling away from McCain. McCain needs to really run away. Needs to gap these 3 cars by, hopefully for him, over a second, just to nullify any slipstream effect that you might find. Walters, still in 7th place, cannot find his way through. And look at that, 3 cars separated by less than a second on the track. Don't count out Dan Mould in the background as well. And McCain as well in 5th place. Lovesey catching once again up to the back of Mark Draper. Lovesey tries to go all the way around the outside of turn number 10. Can't really find a way through, and that compromises him. You see on the exit, all these little half-hearted moves end up just costing you more time, end up doing you more harm than good. I think Lovesey's really feeling the effect of that at the moment. Walters under pressure from Myatt. Myatt sending his car up to the inside through Zhengxiao. They're side by side as we head through turns 14 and 15. Mercedes versus McLaren. Who has the better top end speed? Who is a little bit more trimmed out on downforce? Walters is going to have to go the long way round of turn 1 if he wants to keep the position. He's got a little bit more overspeed. Walters brakes late. Myatt brakes just a little bit later. Myatt finds his way through up in to 7th place. Walters to 8th. Wareham has escaped up the road. He is now 1.3 seconds ahead of Myatt. Myatt will not get much of a slipstream effect, if any, heading down the Retta Aposta towards turn 4. Myatt holds his position. Myatt 7th, Walters 8th, Mould in 9th, but Mould very much now in the battle for 7th. Wareham has got a huge run on McCain up ahead, can't really find a way into turn 6. But McCain once again under pressure from the McLaren driver. McCain runs a little bit tight through turn 7. That's going to open him up for turn 8. In the background you see huge battles between Myatt, Walters and Mould. Really, it's starting to feel though like we've got two very distinct battles happening on the track. Fraser Geraghty side by side with Daniel Lewis. Fraser Geraghty now also up 8 places from where he started. Supreme effort from the number 5 Mercedes. Wareham falling off the back of McCain through the middle sector. It does feel like, you know, Wareham is quicker in sectors 1 and 3, but sector 2, the tricky, the tight, twisty section, McCain is just slightly quicker, and that's really keeping his 5th place very much in his grasp at the moment. Myatt in 7th place. White flag, 1 lap to go. And who will be where in this race, I wonder? Myatt defends to the inside. Walters tries to find a way through. Watch for Dan Mould. He's got a great view of all of the action ahead of him through turns 3, Curva del Sol. We go for the final time in race 1. Runs a little bit wide, tries to get as much slipstream as possible. Really fingertip driving you have to do through turns 3. McCain in 5th, Wareham 6th, Myatt 7th, Walters in 8th with Dan Mould in 9th. Mould though getting a huge run on the exit of turn 5. They're going to have to almost send it to the inside. It's really do or die stuff. They're going to be almost 3 wide. I think Dan Mould thought about making the move, but Walters and Myatt were having their own battle and really stopped any form of overtake from happening. Mould sends it to the inside of Walters. That's a late, audacious move into turn 8, but Mould's got it done. Almost contact with Walters. Could have really been disastrous stuff there, but Mould survives. Mould in 8th place. Can he make his way past Anthony Myatt for 7th? I wonder. Ryan Patton in 2nd place. You can't really see this man ahead of him. Arthur Furter, what an incredible job he's done. He's going to come across the line to win the first race here today. Didn't really have to do much in the form of overtaking. It's fair to say Mould really did that for him in the end. But in 2nd, it's going to be Patton. But who's going to be 3rd in the race? It's going to be Draper and Lovesey. But side by side in the background, Dan Mould and Wyatt going side by side. And it's going to be Mould who takes 7th place. Myatt in 8th. Walters 9th. Fraser Geraghty in 10th place. Or he will be once he crosses the line. But wow, what an incredible opening race here for round number 4. Geraghty, flash of the lights, certainly deserves that one after a fairly stunning performance, you have to say, today, up 8 places from where he started. Al Brown in 14th place, Gibbons just behind him in 15th, with Elliot James, or the last 2 drivers who are out on the track at the moment. The number 14, Aston Martin. And where is Neil Stephenson, I wonder? Just coming around turn 15, the final corner, to cross the line, and that is every driver who was still out on the track across the line. And Wow, what an absolutely amazing opening race. And if you're sat at home thinking, I tell you what, this racing is pretty good, and I quite like to get involved with you know, some Friday night action, but maybe I'm a little bit more of a fan of the TCR. Well then, we have the SRL TCR League Season 4 very much returning to your screens. We've got 6 races: Donington, Nürburgring, Road Atlanta, Mid-Ohio, Silverstone, the old classic Silverstone, Zolder, and Hockenheim. And I, for one, cannot wait to get this one underway. It's the same format that we have for the GT4s. It's 2 20-minute heat races with a reverse grid in race number 2. The first race, the induction race, is on September 16th. So 1 week from now, that's the media day before the racing really gets underway in earnest 2 weeks later. But if you want to have a little bit of a taste of the action, most definitely head over to the last broadcast on the SRL YouTube channel. It was a fun race around Alton Park, and it certainly did not disappoint. But we are now into a 5-minute warm-up for race number 2. And let's bring you your results from the first race. In Thurtle, unsurprisingly, Arthur Thurtle takes the victory. 7.485 seconds separates himself and Ryan Patton in second place. Mark Draper, your final driver on the podium. Lovesey fourth, McCain in fifth, Wareham 6th, Mould 7th, Mayat in 8th place. Craig Walters 9th, Fraser Geraghty in 10th, Lewis 11th, Dudley 12th, Paul Cugley in 13th, Al Brown 14th, Stuart Gibbons in 15th, Neil Stephenson in 16th place, Elliot James in 17th, and Mark Brown, I do believe the first of our retirees, sorry, no, he was still racing, finished 1 lap down in 18th place. So did David Smith. He was also a lap down in 19th. John Johnston 2 laps down in 20th. John Brown in 21st, and Derek Crowther retired on lap number 6. But with 2 minutes and 1 second to go, I wonder if we can very quickly just grab one of the drivers, I wonder, for a little bit of an interview. And I wonder who. I'm just gonna grab them, I think, from the Discord channel. It's a little bit of a Russian roulette, as it were. Let's try and have a chat, if we can, to Ryan Dudley. Let's see. Ryan, are you there?
Yeah.
Welcome to the broadcast booth. We're doing this new feature where we just randomly bring in a driver from the first race and ask them how their race went. So, how did your race go?
Oh, terrible. I hate Interlagos.
You're one of the only 2 Porsche drivers out on the grid. Is the Porsche a little bit slow around here?
Yeah, it feels that way. It was a bad choice, but yeah, it happens.
How'd you like your chances for race 2? Can you learn anything from the first race tonight?
Slim, and not really. I'm
Well,
not looking forward to the second race either.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your race goes a little bit better. I'm sorry for just sort of randomly bringing you into the broadcast booth, but I was given permission.
It's fine, mate. No, thank you.
Good luck for race number 2.
Cheers. Thank you, mate.
I tell you what, it's only courteous to move him back into the pack, into the Discord group. That's a new section we're doing where we just move people into the commentary booth. It's I'll get better at it. You'll see it on your screen at the moment, of course. Once again, if you do want to join the new TCR season, I highly recommend it. We'll have live commentary from a very annoying commentator called Seb Bosher-Williams. Alan McCain in the practice session, by the way, is on the fastest and only lap time so far, 1 minute 40.17. And you can find the Discord link for Find the Discord link, sorry, for the league in the YouTube description below. And there, in fact, is Alan McCain getting ready for race number 2, and Gibbons will start on the pole, the reverse grid pole. Al Brown second, Paul Cugley third, Ryan Dudley, we spoke to him, he starts in 4th place. Daniel Lewis in 5th, Frederick Garrity 6th, Craig Walters 7th, Anthony Mayat in 8th, Dan Mould in 9th, Wareham 10, McCain in 11th, Lovesey in 12th place, Draper 13th, Patton 14th, and Arthur Thurtle in 15th place. I do apologise, it's the reverse top 15. Of course, it is rather than the top 12, as I have been saying. Neil Stephenson in 16th, Elliot James 17th, Mark Brown 18th. David Smith will start in 19th place, John Johnston in 20th, and then John Brown and Derek Crowther form your final row of the grid for race number 2. And firstly, let's hope for a little bit of a calmer start to race number 2. Of course, that accident at the start really did not help many drivers' races, I'm sure. In fact, some drivers must have been carrying damage from the start of the race. So Gibbons in the 47, that's the McLaren that you see on your screen at the moment. He now decides when he wants to get this race underway, and I think he'll be wanting to do exactly the same as Dan Mould did, and just get away as late as possible. Don't really give your competition the opportunity to get in the slipstream. I agree. In the YouTube chat, Andrew Lovesey, the driver of the day, he's done amazing in race number 1. What can he do today? He starts 11th place at the moment. Got Ryan Patton right alongside him. Gibbons now starting to back up the pack. They go 2 by 2. You see Dudley in the background starting to weave and get ready to go racing. Dudley not really looking forward to race number 2, but I know I certainly am. Let's just hope that we don't really see that concertina effect that we saw at the back of the pack. Dudley really hustling and harrying Al Brown along. But all eyes are focused on that 47. It's all about when he decides to get this race underway. He really only has to wait until the safety car is in. The safety car does peel in. They're all 2 by 2. And we are ready to get underway for the second time today. And Gibbons has a great start. He's going to be in the lead, heading down to turn 1. Cugley trying to make a move on Brown. They all make their way nicely and neatly through. Gibbons in the lead. Al Brown in 3rd place, coming under pressure from Dudley. You see Al Brown defending from Dudley. As it all round turn number 3, cover Del Sol, a much cleaner start than the first time today. A little bit of a move there in the background for one of the McLarens, trying to send it down the inside, can't really find a way through. Alan McCain being overtaken by Lovesey. Gibbons and Dudley still scrapping the way. They're almost 4 wide on the exit. What's happened to Stuart Gibbons? I wonder. He's falling down the order. He's already in 2nd place. He must have run wide on the Cena del Lago. I do apologise. So Gibbons now in 3rd place. So it's Cugley in the lead. Al Brown in 2nd. Gibbons in 3rd. As we head around turn number 9 up towards turn 10. Brown starting to have a look at making a move into turn 10. Trying to go around the outside. Is that a little bit of damage for Paul Cugley? I wonder. There's a spin in the background. That's Gibbons. That's your provisional pole sitter. Oh, and it's a car park through turn number 10. Everybody just about gets away from it. Arthur Thurtle's had an absolutely belching start. He's up into 7th place, trying to make his up 8 spots. He is already contact in the background there. That's Wareham off the track. Daniel Wareham, I think contact between himself and I think another McLaren He's falling down the order, so huge drama at the start of this race. Once again, I said it was clean, but really only clean through turns 1 and 2. Craig Walters coming under pressure from Thurtle. Thurtle trying to make his way up into 6th place. Thurtle tries to go the long way round of turn 1, breaks a little bit later, and that's a brave move. Oh, we're spinning ahead of him there. Who is that? That's Daniel Lewis that's spinning round in the McLaren. Lewis dropping down the order, but thankfully is off the racing line. And that must have been an absolute heart-stopping moment for Thurtle. He's now in 5th place. Lovesey in 6th. Paul Cugley is being overtaken by Al Brown. Al Brown now leads this race. We've only had 2 racing laps, but 3 race leaders. Cugley in 2nd place. What can he do? What can Ryan Dudley do as well? He's a little bit adrift of the top 2 at the moment, but I think caught up in the goings on of the first lap. Through towards turn number 10. Everything's starting now to calm down, at least at the higher echelons of the field. Craig Walters under pressure once again from Myatt, and Myatt has had a very aggressive race so far. I think he's going to have to get his elbows out once again if he wants to continue on his superb form. Into the braking zone of turn 12, where we saw all of that action going on. Stuart Gibbons has jumped to the pits, and I wonder if we can see why. Gibbons losing the rear through turn 7, and I think very much figured that his race was just over, and there's not really much more that he wants to compete from this race. So this is Gibbons' spin, in fact, heading into turn 10, and then everybody concertinaing really up at the apex. Can't really blame anybody for the contact there. You don't tend to expect a car to be facing across the track, and really long sort of almost sort of depressing rejoin that you have to wait. So there is your current field. Walters in 7th place, but I mean, after Thurtle, the race 1 winner, up a staggering 10 places. McCain and Brown, they're side by side. McCain getting the upper hand over Brown. Brown now down into 11th place. He's also up 10 places from where he started, but Alan McCain, the driver who finished 5th in race 1, finds himself up into 10th in race number 2. Smith is falling down the order. That's very shallow entry, you have to say. They're side by side in the background between Crowther and Johnson. Johnson just gets a little bit wide, and Crowther is going to find his way through. Crowther now up into 14th place. Can he get it slowed down for turn 10? Yes, he can. Johnson has a little bit of a look, though, towards the inside. Can't really find a way through. Dudley is definitely caught up, though, to Cugley. Dudley versus Cugley, with Dan Mould as well involved for good measure. Up towards the start-finish line. Mould tries the outside, can't find a way through. Tries the inside, can't find a way through. Has to go right back around to the outside. Mould and Dudley side by side. Mould sets the fastest lap of the race last time by, but look at how late Thurtle managed to stamp on the brakes. Thurtle very much involved in this fight for the win. We were going to see Mould versus Thurtle in race 1, but we just had to wait until race number 2. Mould side by side with Dudley. Dudley now demoted to 4th place. Does Mould feel a little bit adventurous as he tried to make his way past Cugley in the same almost breath of overtaking Dudley? Yes, he can. That's going to allow Cugley to be pushed out wide. Dudley's going to find his way through, but look at this, Arthur Thurtle in the background. He is looking at trying to pick the pocket of everybody in front of him. Cugley and Dudley side by side. Look at this, Thurtle now trying to get involved in the action. Dudley tries to stick it all the way around the outside, heading now into turn 8. Thurtle is going to have to be so careful. He is our race 1 winner. We know he's got the pace. He doesn't really need to get involved in too much action, doesn't need to be too heroic when it comes to his overtaking moves. Dudley trying to find his way around the outside of turn 10, and in all credit to the Porsche driver, he's done exactly that. I think I called that impossible earlier on in commentary. Clearly I was wrong. Down the inside, though, looks Andrew Lovesey on Arthur Thurtle. Thurtle and Lovesey now side by side on the exit of Zheng Xiao. Lovesey has the slipstream of the McLaren up ahead of him. Myatt and Walters in the background as well. They're also going side by side. It's Dudley, Cugley, Lovesey, and Fertile, Myatt and Walters. And who is going to come off the best in this little action as we head down towards turn number 1. Thurtle tries to pull out, tries to go the long way round the outside of turn number 1. Thurtle, though, is going to now have the inside line, but he's going to be slowed up by Cugley up ahead of him. Lovesey still remains in 6th place. Myatt, Patton, and Walters all having a monumental scrap behind, as you see there, almost 3 wide on the exit of turn 3. Dudley is running away with this at the moment. We see now Lovesey tries to send it to the inside of Cugley, cannot find a way through. That might open up a little bit of a move for Thurtle. Myatt under pressure from Patton and Walters in the background. 7th, 8th and 9th separated by less than 3/10 of a second. But Thurtle having a look. He tries to go all the way around the outside of turn 7. You're not really going to be able to find your way around there if you can just keep a nose in. But look at that, Lovesey sends it to the inside of Paul Cugley. That's a superb move there for Andrew Lovesey. And Cugley now very much the cork in Arthur Thurtle's bottle in the background, though. Ryan Patton getting involved, tries to go the long way round on the outside of turn 10, side by side. Once again, we're seeing through turn 10. Patton now up past Myatt. Myatt down in 8th. Patton up to 7th. And Thurtle still stuck behind Cugley. Really is the cork in the bottle. You see the gap between Lovesey and Cugley already 1.3 seconds. Thurtle had a much better exit though, heading off the back part of the circuit through turn 12. They're going to be side by side already before we really hit turn number 15. They all go so close to that pit exit wall. Thurtle though can't find a way through. He's going to have to go dive to the inside. This is really make or break stuff, but Cugley almost collides with Patton. Patton though tries to find his way around the outside through turn number 3. And now Cugley's just going backwards. It's almost like he's found reverse gear. Myatt on the inside, contact is made. How did they not end up in a monumental accident? I will never know. Walters heads to the inside though. More contact is made. And Walters goes flying off in the background. And Walters' race very much coming to an end, or at least that portion undoubtedly. But they're still racing. Oh, Myatt's off the track. That's going to be in the wall. How has he not hit the wall? I wonder. Myatt has had such incredible luck so far, although I don't think you'll agree with me after that. Myatt and Walters, by the way, both returning to the pits. McCain 7th, but look at this, Cugley and John Brown. Cugley, I think, started this lap in around about 5th place. He's currently down in 8th, make that 9th place, unless Cugley can do the turn 10 round the outside special. He certainly can. Now we head towards turn number 11 and 12. Brown in 8th place, Draper 9th, and Cugley now down into 10th place, but Draper one's a little bit wide on the entry to turn 12. But Cugley cannot capitalise on that mistake. In fact, Draper gets a huge run on Brown as they head up the hill towards the start-finish line. There's a car going slow off in the background. Is that Alan McCain? I wonder, is that a lapped car? I'm not quite sure, if I'm completely honest. But side by side between 8th and 9th place. Draper going all the way around the outside of turn 1. Still side by side. Contact's made a little bit there. Not too bad, certainly not the worst we've seen in this race so far. Still side by side through turn 3. Lots of respect between these two drivers. McLaren versus McLaren. And Draper just has the edge as they head down towards turn number 4. Mould and Brown, that's a change for the race. Lead up towards turn 7. Dan Mould is on the outside. So all while that mega battle was going on further down the field, Mould has been catching up to Brown. But Mould cannot find a way through at the moment. So Mould remains in 2nd place. Dudley in 3rd. And look at that, Lovesey and Thurtle. Those two were, well, those three, I should say, were almost on the same piece of racetrack a few laps ago. And just for all of the craziness that we saw, that really has unfolded. Or really undone all the progress that Lovesey and Thurtle made earlier on in this race. So up towards turn 12 now. What can Thurtle do? Does he feel like he can make the move I think, you know, Thurtle, gone of the days when he could play it safe, play it calm, play it cool. He needs to get these moves done now, and he needs to be very decisive. So I wonder, will Thurtle do that on the way up towards turn number 1? Thurtle pulls to the outside, going to try and make it side by side into turn 1. Dudley, though, a little bit slow on the apex. Thought that was going to compromise Lovesley, but in fact that's given Lovesley an amazing run now through turns 2 and 3. Lovesley already got the inside line through Curva del Sol. You see in the front of your picture Al Brown and Dan Mould battling side by side. It's Brown on the inside, Mould heading around the outside. That position very much stays the same, but down the inside goes Lovesley, makes his way up into 3rd. Dudley demoted to 4th, but this battle very much remains undone for the race lead. I think Mould is now in the race lead. I think I just missed that, but Lovesley in 3rd. 3rd trying to go all the way around the outside, and Dudley in 4th. Patton getting involved as well. The Duke Porsche separated by less than a tenth of a second on the race track. Lovesley 3rd, runs a little bit wide though on the exit of turn 8, and that's really advantage, you have to say, Arthur Thurtle, because it means that he has been the quickest driver out there today, undoubtedly. I think his race to performance would certainly support that. And this is how Dan Mould managed to make the move. So we saw on the entrance to turn 4 and 5, Mould just gets the title line, gets the better drag. He's got the outside line for turn number 7 and just keeps his nose in there. And I think he's just going to be able to brake just that little bit later. Actually, he remains behind. So that must have been the lap previously. Riding on board, we see Patton and Dudley going side by side. What has happened to Thurtle, I wonder? Thurtle now all the way down into 5th place. So Thurtle just nowhere to be found at the moment. What's happened to Andrew Lovesley as well? I think when we're looking at that replay, Lovesley's made a mistake. Mould in the lead, Brown in 2nd, Thurtle now heading up to 3rd, tries to go the long way round of Dudley, does so very, very nicely. So this is what happened to Lovesley. Oh, he spins on the exit of turn number 12, Jung Shao. And Lovesley, the driver of the day for so many of us, you have to say. And it all goes wrong in the blink of an eye. And Mould's been off the track as well, because Dan Mould is now in 2nd place. So Al Brown just cleanly getting past Dan Mould. Is Mould picked up, I wonder, some form of slowdown? I wonder, because Mould was some 2 seconds quicker than Brown on that last lap. So Mould now back into 2nd place. So let's give you a very quick rundown of your top 10. It's Brown, Mould, Thurtle in 3rd place, Dudley in 4th, Patton 5th, McCain in 6th, Draper in 7th place, John Brown in 8th, Derek Crowther in 9th, and Paul Coakley in 10th place after starting in 3rd. Really managed to arrest that deterioration in positions that he had earlier on. 15 minutes and 29 seconds gone in this race so far. Mould in the slipstream once again. Tries to find his way past Brown up into the race lead. Pulls out into the braking zone of Ticino del Lago. Can't find a way through. McCain and Patton in the background. They're fighting it. And McCain just has to concede that place for the time being. Brown defensive once again through turn 7. It seems that Brown is quicker on the entry to Ticino del Lago, but Mould is so much quicker on the exit. Brown is going to try and go all the way around the outside of turn 8. It's going to be almost shown the door undoubtedly through turn 9. Brown remains in 2nd place. Dudley in 4th, but who is behind? Who is in 4th place? It's very much a tie between Patton and McCain. McCain just has to back out through turn 10. Patton very much under pressure. Porsche versus McLaren. McLaren's inherit the top 2 and undoubtedly have the most share on the grid. McLaren using all of the curb there for McCain. Really not shy about using that apex curve. Or curb, I should say, in fact. Pattern in the slipstream of Dudley. Dudley in the slipstream of McCain. Brown and Mould separated by 0.3 of a second. I think Smith's off the track in 12th place. I wonder what has happened to him. Oh, he's just rejoining, another victim of turn number 12. Mould, though, really in the slipstream once again of Brown. Brown pulls to the outside. That's going to give a huge opportunity to Mould to send it down the inside. We know that Brown is quicker into the first part of Destino del Lago, but Mould has got so much more command over the front end of his car. Gets it done, and Mould retakes the race lead. But Thurtle, look at him in the background. Brown pulls out to the inside, tries to make it side by side through turns 7 and 8. Brown doing a superb job, you have to say, to keep this battle for the race alive. Sends it to the inside. But Mould still has the inside line, but they're still going to go side by side through turns 9. Look at this. Thurtle now getting involved on the action. He's saying, thank you very much for fighting ahead of me. It means I can really regain all the lost time that Thurtle endured earlier on due to other cars just fighting, which they're perfectly entitled to do. Through turns 12 we go. Up now towards start-finish straight. The best overtaking opportunity that we've seen so far. This is really crucial now for Thurtle. If he wants any chance of doing the double here today, he needs to get past Brown into the braking zone at turn 1. Thurtle pulls out to the inside, can't really find a way through. A little bit of a half-hearted tackle, you have to say, from Thurtle. In the background, Patton and Dudley, the battle of the Porsches reign once again. Patton now up into 4th, Dudley demoted into 5th, McCain getting involved in 6th place. Dan Mould, though, in the race lead. We've got Brown and Thurtle. Thurtle's going to try and go all the way around the outside. There's a big contact there. Brown somehow manages to get the last car slowed down. Patton and Dudley still side by side. Patton remains the leader in this pack. Dudley in 5th, McCain in 6th place. So Thurtle now, crucially, is into 2nd place. He's 1.1 seconds behind Mould. Although I do think this is the final lap of the race. So Thurtle's going to need something special. Patton, though, 4th. Dudley 5th. McCain in 6th place. Further down the field, Crowther and Brown. That's a battle that we haven't really seen so much in this race, just due to all of the action ahead of them. But let's not forget to mention Brown or Crowther, both up 13 positions. How incredible is that? We've got 3 drivers all up 13 positions in this race. And Brown, Crowther could make that one better, or even they could both. As Brown is, Draper, a little bit slow at this phase of the race. Who's got the best exit out of Destino del Lago, I wonder. But this is your race leader, Dan Mould, after that mistake in race 1. It's all come back to him in race 2. He's going to cross the line to take the victory. Thurtle in 2nd, Brown in 3rd. And Patton will come across the line in 4th place. But it's that battle between Draper, Brown and Crowther, and it all remains the same. A little bit of contact, in fact, heading through turn 1. And once again, never fails to deliver. So Cugley will finish in 11th, Lewis 12th, Smith 13th, Stephenson will finish in 14th place. Garrity is not that far behind Walter, you have to say. Unfortunately, going to run out of time to really do anything about that. But Fraser Garrity not having a great race. Neither is Craig Walters. Decided very much to take the easy way out when it comes to stopping the car. I don't think he'll be wanting to use that chassis again anytime soon. I don't think his mechanics will particularly enjoy repairing that one. But here are your race results for the feature. And Dan Mould, your race winner. As I said, after making that mistake in race 1, really really having the perfect race too. He was up 8 places from where he started, and he takes the win by 0.8 of a second. Arthur Thurtle almost did the double. One race won, couldn't quite get the race win in the feature today. Al Brown is your 3rd driver on the podium, supreme drive by him. He started in 2nd place after the reversed grid and held his own, was racing very much for the lead in his own right. Superb race from Brown. I think if Lovesey was your driver of the race for race 1, Brown I think has to take that for race 2. Ryan Patton just outside the top 3 in 4th, Ryan Dudley 5th, Alan McCain in 6th, Mark Draper 7th, John Brown in 8th place, Derek Crowther in 9th, Andrew Lovesey recovers to 10th place even after that mistake, Paul Cogley just outside the top 10 in 11th place, Daniel Lewis in 12th, David Smith in 13th, Neil Stephenson in 14th, Elliot James in 15th, and our final driver to finish on the lead lap, Daniel Wareham 16th, Craig Walters 17th, Fraser Geraghty in 18th place. Both Walters and Geraghty 2 laps down. John Johnston 4 laps down. Anthony Meyer 7 laps down. Stuart Gibbons was your pole sitter, but that really didn't come to much for him. He'll be gutted. I think the 47 McLaren after that start got away very cleanly, made that mistake into turn 5, and it all cascaded from there. And Mark Brown was your 22nd and final driver. But wow, what an absolutely superb race once again. And I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, you have to wonder who else on the track enjoyed that as much as we did. And I think the only way really to find that out is to talk to some of our drivers. And I'll tell you what, I think we have waiting for us in the interview waiting room is your feature race winner, Dan Moe. Dan, once again, welcome to the commentary booth. Congratulations on your race win. Does that feel a little bit like do you feel satisfied, I should say, after that race win, knowing what could have been in race 1?
I'm really angry at myself after that spin on the first lap of race 1, but yeah, I was really looking forward to a battle with Arthur and Ryan, Andy as well. They seem to be on pace. And yeah, the back end just went on me. I forgot to. I had the bias set right down for qualifying, and I forgot to increase it with the cold tyres, and it just went. I just couldn't save it. I enjoyed battling back through the pack. Some lads had some good defensive skills. And the second race, yeah, I'm glad I won it. I had a crazy epic battle with Al Brown, and then I was just thankful that Arthur got held up behind Hal, and then earlier on in the race he got held up as well, which was good to see. But yeah, to be fair, I'd rather have a good battle than actually win outright, you know, like that. So the battle with Al made up for it.
Yeah, I completely get where you're coming from. You know, it doesn't really matter where you finish in sim racing, as long as you've had a good race. It always feels more satisfying. I mean, it looked kind of crazy out there. I don't know if you saw from where you were at the start of race 1, but there was quite a big accident, quite a proportional accident behind you before the race had even started, which kind of set the tone.
That was my fault. That was my fault. Yeah, I held my hands up there. I tried to, yeah, I was just trying to tactic, and I just completely misjudged. Expected the pace car to go in, well, to go faster, to be fair. He just seemed to really go slow in that last corner. Yeah, that was completely. I apologise to the lads. It was all me. I think they did say in the chat, you know, slow down, and then obviously a couple mustn't have heard, and then I think they ran in the back. So, yeah, sorry lads.
Well, I think as long as you apologise, we've seen it from real professional racing drivers very recently, in fact. So I don't think you should be too hard on yourself. Very quickly, next race, Alton Park, 2 weeks time. Is that a track that you like? Are you thinking that you might be able to repeat what you did today with another race win? I'm
normally pretty handy around open parks. It is my favourite track. It's not far from where I live. But I would go in with confidence. But the fact that we've got Arthur in now and Ryan's come on strong and Naveed, if he races, Andy Love, and he's not one to write off. But I know the lads will be on pace. We'll all be on a similar pace. So it should be another good race if I can keep the car on the track. I just keep continuing to spin these cars. I don't know what it is.
They, in fairness, at least I very much struggle to drive these cars. Well, Dan, thank you very much for coming up to the commentary box. Congratulations on your race victory. Is there anybody you'd like to give a very quick shout out to at all?
Yourself, Seb. I'm sure it's an excellent stream. Looking forward to watching it, and just the lads for turning up and supporting, the league that me and John do, and anybody who's watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, apologise to the lads for that absolute mess at the start. Cheers, Seb.
Absolutely no worries. That was Dan Mould, your race 2 winner. But I tell you what, we might have Arthur Thurtle on hand for your first race win. Arthur, welcome to the commentary booth. And almost you had the double race win there, but that looked like a ton of fun out on the track.
Yeah, it was great fun. The first race was, comfortable, just how I like it. But the second race, yeah, that was a tough race. I had a great start, and then there was 2 laps in the middle where I think I had about a 5-second gap to Ryan, and I got held up so much, and yeah, I just lost all that time that I'd managed to pull away. I was thinking that I might have been able to win it, but yeah, once I saw Dan disappearing off into the distance, I knew I couldn't win the second one.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was surprised. I think you might even be able to tell in commentary of how quickly you managed to catch up at the very end of the race. I think, I mentioned it seemed after, it took you a while to get past the cars, you were, some 5 or so seconds off the back. So you clearly had a lot of pace around this track today. Is it a track that you normally tend to go well at, or is it one? I think we were talking to, I think it was Ryan Dudley earlier on, and he said he just simply hates this track. Are you the same, or have you got quite a fondness for Interlagos?
Yeah, I quite like it, to be honest. It's the first race I've ever done at the track. I think I might have done a charity race once on it before, ages ago, but apart from that, no, I've never done an official iRacing race on this track, but I quite enjoyed it. I remember it from the F1 games when I was younger. Well,
I think for your first race around Interlagos, I think it's gone pretty well. One race victory by, was it 7 seconds, and then a P2. So I think that's a fairly good debut at the circuit.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. It was a shame about Dan spinning on the first lap on the first race, because me and him have been giving each other a lot of stick for the last few days about who's going to win, because there was quite a difference. The Aston was very quick in the corners, but the McLaren was so fast down the straight. Even if you're in the tow, the McLaren would pull away. So it was we've been giving each other a lot of stick about it.
Do you think that pressure sort of just built up? And I think Dan actually said that he had his brake bias set for qualifying, so went into Destino del Lago, and the car just wasn't prepared for the demand that the rear tyres were expecting. But yeah, I think I echo your sentiments. It would have been great to have a race between yourself and Dan. I'll ask the same question that I did to Dan. Alton Park next round, is that a track that you go well at? Are we going to see Dan and Arthur once again at the top of the timing sheets?
Yeah, I hope so. I think Alton Park's actually his local track, but I love Alton Park. I think it's one of the best tracks on here. I love all the undulations and stuff. It's brilliant. Well,
I cannot wait for 2 weeks for when the GT4 series returns. Before I let you go, after congratulations, of course, anybody you'd like to give a quick shout out to at all?
Yeah, I think I better give Derek a quick shout out for the livery. It's based on a race car that my dad used to have when I was a kid. He used to have an Aston race car, and so I sent him a picture of it and said, "Can you do this?" And that was the livery I'm running.
Oh wow! Wow, That's really nice, actually. That's a lovely story about your livery. Well, thank you very much, Arthur, for coming to talk to us in the broadcast booth, and congratulations, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you. See you in 2 weeks.
That was Arthur Thurtle, your race 1 winner, and second place in race 2. Another podium finisher in today's race, though, was Al Brown. Al, welcome to the commentary booth, and I called you my driver of the day for race 2. I mean, it was incredible watching you. You know, I mean, you just had so much pace, and you were really fighting Dan. I thought at one point you might be able to get the race win.
I was hoping so. I don't deserve to be up there, but yeah, starting in pole, it was good fun. I've raced with Dan for years, so that was enjoyable.
It certainly looked like that, and you must have been. Were you pleased when you saw Stuart, you know, the driver that started alongside you at the start of the race, make that mistake? Firstly through turn 5, and then once again, I think at turn 10. Did you sort of know once that mistake had happened that it was almost an easier race for yourself?
Yeah, it was quiet for the first 3 quarters, wasn't it, once he did that, and they dropped back. And then I noticed Dan was in 4th, and then after a corner, he got past both of them, so I knew he was coming. And yeah, it was a good laugh as ever.
It certainly looked like that from the commentary booth. I think it was probably a little bit more stressful from the cockpit.
I was sandbagging him on that last corner every time because he always gets a better drive out of it.
Well, I mean, it's a valid defensive strategy.
It worked.
It certainly did. I mean, did you really seriously consider from the cockpit that race was yours to win?
Until I seen that he was 2 places behind me, I thought, yeah, it was on here. But then, 7 minutes left to go, I think it was. He got in second. I was like, yeah, it's all over. He's coming.
Well, you gave him a really good run for his money. I think it was like 5 or 6 laps. You consecutively side by side through turns 4 and 5, and some absolutely great racing.
He got past and then he messed up, didn't he? So I got back past, and then Arthur came and joined the party as well.
It was thoroughly enjoyable to watch.
I'll watch it later.
I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.
Fingers crossed.
Before I let you go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all?
Just Dan and John for sorting it out. They do a great job of organising it. And yeah, everybody that's in the chat. You wouldn't be able to broadcast our chat, but it's good fun.
I did play a little bit of Russian roulette earlier when I dived into the chat and tried to drag people out. It's always a little bit of a dangerous game, but
mid-race, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming to have a chat with us.
Good man. All right, cheers, Bob.
Thank you very much. That was Al Brown, your 3rd place finisher in race number 2, and congratulations to him. So, I'll tell you what, let's continue on the interview. We've got Mark Draper next, and another driver had a great race. Mark, welcome to the commentary booth. Ended up finishing 7th place, up 6 positions in race 2. That looked fairly adventurous out there tonight.
A bit of chaos first half of the second race, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it certainly looked like good fun out there. So, I mean, sorry, in Interlagos, I mean, it's been fairly crazy, actually, all race long. Is it a track that you like? You know, I've spoken to some drivers that either say they love this place or they simply really hate it. Well, where do you fit on that scale?
Well, I suppose I'm a bit in the middle, where I like the track, I just don't click with it. As in, like, every time I've come here, no matter what series I race, I'm always half a second off the top boys, because I just, like I said, I just don't click well with it. But I do like the track. It's just I've never been particularly quick.
So, before the race, if I'd said you'd come away with the 7th place in the feature, would you have been happy, or do you want a little bit more?
Considering where I started, I'm happy with it, to be honest. It's the first time I've actually properly raced the GT4s in like a sprint series. So yeah, I'm happy. Like this, it was fun. I have to get used to the car a little bit more because I started cooking the tyres every 2 laps, but I held on, passed a few cars and enjoyed it. Had loads of fun.
It certainly looked like that from the commentary booth. Well, congratulations on your finishes today. Before I let you go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all on the broadcast?
Just the lads that run the league. They're absolutely immense. Good crack as well in Discord and stuff like that. Always, I'm a good banter. Help you if you ask them as well, and for you for broadcasting.
Absolutely no worries, and yeah, I echo the sentiments. Both Dan and John are put on an absolutely incredible league. Well, thank you very much, Mark, for coming up and having a chat with us in the commentary booth, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks' time for Alton Park.
Right, cheers, mate. Thanks. Bye.
That was Mark Draper, who finished 7th place in the feature race. And I tell you what, I think we've got time for one very quick interview with Ryan Patton. Ryan, welcome to the commentary booth. That was a great race from yourself. I think you were one of the drivers that made the most overtakes, I think, today. That looked fairly fun.
Man, it was a lot of fun. I put in a lot of practice for this weekend because Interlagos is one of my favorite tracks. And as soon as I hopped on it in practice in the Porsche, I was feeling really good. And just looking at the lap times, because Dan was doing a lot of practice as well, and Arthur, and my lap times were always up there, so I was feeling really good. And when it came to qualifying, I was a bit disappointed because I know that I could have done a better lap. Pole position was definitely there to be had. The track temperature was slightly hotter than it usually is. But yeah, so I was 3/10 away from Arthur and Dan. It could have been a lot worse because I thought somebody else might be able to bridge that gap and be in between us. But yeah, I managed to start third, and then obviously, it was a bit of a weird start because Dan went early, and then you had to slow up, and there was a bit of panic there. I was worried someone might run into the back of me, but when the race started, I just slotted in behind Arthur. I broke a bit late actually into turn 1. I was worried I might run into him, but that was okay. And then Dan spun out. I was not expecting that because the McLaren is usually pretty stable. It looked like a bit of a weird spin, but early on in the race I couldn't find a groove behind Arthur, and I made a few mistakes, and he managed to get away. So from there it was just pretty much just managing the race, making sure I didn't make any big mistakes. And then in race 2, Arthur got a really good start, which was a shame because I thought I might have a chance to beat him, but he gained 5 positions or something before turn 1, so that was crazy. But I made some aggressive moves. I managed to get past him at one point because there were quite a few incidents that happened in the second race. But yeah, I wasn't able to get past the other Porsche guy at turn 1, and then Arthur was able to get back past me. And then for the rest of the race, I was battling with the other Ryan in the Porsche, and I managed to get past him on the last lap. But I lost a bit of time there. It looked like Dan and Arthur managed to finish first and second. If I'd managed to get past the other Porsche a bit earlier, maybe I could have been up there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with my my performances this week.
I certainly think you should be. Remember back to qualifying, I think I said you didn't get that first lap in. Did you get an off track or something? Because it sort of set you on the back foot for the rest of the race, it seemed.
Yeah, so with the first lap, I just made a mistake on the first lap, and then the second lap and the third lap, I made big mistakes into turn 1, and I lost about 3/10 there, and it's hard, you can't really find that time back. But yeah, even in the races, I never really found the kind of pace that I had in practice. Because in practice, my race pace was on the level of Arthur, but in the race, I was 2-3 off in the first race, and even in the second race, my pace wasn't great. But still, the results were pretty good, and I'm happy with that. And hopefully, I can build on it next time out at Alton.
Well, I was going to ask you, Alton Park next race, is that a track that you also like? You also go well at? Are we going to see you back at the front of the pack?
If I'm honest, I wouldn't expect it. It's a track I've struggled with. I like the track. It's fun, but going fast there, it's very hard for me. There's a specific chicane part that has tire walls, and I've been into those a few times. So hopefully that doesn't happen next week in the races. But it's a challenging track. But hopefully I can be up at the front. I'll see what I can do in practice. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to, next or 2 weeks away, Alton Park. And thank you very much for coming into the commentary booth, Ryan. And before I let you go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all?
I'd like to shout out Arthur, actually. He's given me a lot of tips since I joined the league, and given me a lot of advice through like telemetry and how I can improve my driving style, and it's definitely helped. So yeah. Oh, and Dan for inviting me to the league.
Well, thank you very much, Ryan, for coming in to the commentary booth, and congratulations, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, thank you very much. Take care.
And you. Wow, what an incredible race, or races, I should say, that we have had today. And if you want a little bit more, then next week will be at the TCR Media Day. I think that will be even more fun, let me tell you. But if you really, really want some GT4 action, then 2 weeks' time, as I've been saying, we'll be back at Alton Park, the international layout, where I think this race will very much, well, the craziness, the excitement will very much continue over. But until then, we bid you farewell from Interlagos, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time when the GT4 or SRL GT4 series returns from Alton Park.